today's video is about a product that is truly the perfect complement to your blue light skincare products and your hyaluronic acid pajamas. Today's video is going to be a video where I talk about my concerns around a certain product from a newer brand. I want to be clear from the beginning of this video, this isn't just going to be a negative video. I'm actually going to talk about some very interesting insights that I gained from researching this brand and the published literature behind their claims. But ultimately, in today's video, I am going to tell you I have some reservations about a specific product that they are selling, and I felt like it was kind of important to make a video on this topic. So today's video is about a small little brand that I discovered on a natural retailer's website by the name of Dr. Elsa Jungmann. The brand is actually quite on trend, I must say. This is a brand that is based around Skinnimalism. Oh my god. Has anyone actually said this word out loud, or have we just typed it into Instagram? That sounds like something you'd pick out of your soup. Let's go with Skinnimalism. It is a brand that only contains 5 products. All 5 products are based in squalane derived from sugarcane. If you look at the ingredients list yourselves, you will see that overall it's pretty much 5 oils, although interestingly the brand doesn't call any of their products oils. They call them serums or cleansers. I say this is very on trend because, you know, a couple of years ago, everybody was doing 15-step skincare routines with lots and lots of ingredients per product. It was only in the natural cycle of things that it would even out, and now we see people saying, whoa, less is more for me, 3 skincare products, a handful of ingredients per product. That's the ebb and flow of trends right there. That's why we had high-waisted pants a few years ago, and now we're seeing low-waisted pants. Do not shoot the messenger. Do I really look like I'm the one dictating fashion trends over here? I don't think so. Subjectively speaking, I do think the price tags on these products are a little high. They're about $70 for, mostly squalane oil, but nonetheless, that is of course subjective. What is interesting to me about this brand is that this isn't just a brand that stops at saying, hey, we're a much more minimalist brand. Instead, they're saying that their products are based all around the skin's microbiome. Elsie, I gotta give this one to you. That's interesting. Not a lot of brands are talking about the skin microbiome, and yet there's a lot of ongoing research into how the microbiome on our skin affects our skin. Wait, I need to do some quick definitions here, don't I? Microbiome refers to all of the living microorganisms, in this case on your skin, but most commonly discussed in terms of your gut. Here's where things do get a little bit confusing. So this is a brand based around your microbiota. Wait a minute, Alice, didn't you just say this is a brand based around squalene? Is it a probiotic brand? Well, no. But more on that later, because again, let me make sure I'm clear, I don't have any problem with the skincare products this brand is selling. However, they have released something that is very new, and it is called their Microbiome Skin Test. Interestingly, we've talked about microbiota tests on this channel before. We've talked about gut health tests that tell you about the population of bacteria in, again, your gut. Now, this can indeed be helpful, but that's not what we're talking about today. Instead, this product that this brand is selling is a $150 test that tells you about the bacteria on your skin. What we do have is quite a good amount of research showing that the more diversity you have in the bacteria on your skin, the more likely that is to represent good skin health. Y'all know I like to cite my research here, so I'll make sure to link you role of the skin microbiome in atopic dermatitis. And then I also have a very interesting study that looked at acne progress. In this study, they followed 25 people who were dealing with acne and had been prescribed a rather specific treatment by their doctors. What they did is they took this same swab test and they followed it. They followed the bacterial colonies that they were seeing in these people's skin throughout the course of this treatment. And lo and behold, at the end of the study and the end of their treatment, they saw a more diverse bacterial population. A little bit more about that skin test. I have another very interesting study that shows through those skin tests, this one specifically looking at skin from the leg. Through looking only at these microbial populations, they were able to determine certain phenotypes of the study participants, including whether or not they were a smoker, whether they were a pre or post menopausal. Let's go back to the website here and take a look at what this test specifically is doing. They are saying you can discover your skin's unique microbes with just a quick swab. Order your test, collect your sample, you run this Q-tip across your forehead, and it will tell you about the bacterial populations on your skin. The thing that's tricky for me and why I wanted to talk about this is that, first of all, again, this is in its infancy, and if you look at the published literature, they're not using the test as a means of diagnosing. The test is rather being used to keep track of what's happening. Now, to be fair to Dr. Elsa here, I did watch several of her videos explaining what it is that she's doing, and she did say that this test is most helpful for you if you are able to repeat it every month or so. I'm not exaggerating. She does say that in a certain video every month or so. $150 a month to continue to keep track of the bacterial populations on your skin seems expensive. And not only expensive, but I have questions about how much we know about this topic and how relevant that is to you as somebody considering buying this. What do you really get from this? One of the hardest things for me to find is the little sample of what your results look like. I think, okay, you have to click through on as if you're adding it to your cart, and then click discover what your report will look like here. There we can finally get some answers. So you can see what your results are going to look like. Again, is this useful to a consumer buying this test? Probably not. Again, based on the literature, it's barely useful to scientists, again, unless we are continuing to analyze this. So supposedly they tell you about your top 10 skin bacteria, but again, this to me, as somebody who's done research on microbiota populations, this seems really limiting. They say they'll tell you about fungi on your skin, which I think could be something that excites a lot of people. We do see a lot of people in the skincare community concerned about things like fungal acne. However, let me be clear that somewhere on this page it does say, hold on, give me a second, I will find this again, I promise. We guarantee bacteria will be detected, however, in some cases fungi won't be detected. So you're just guaranteed a bacterial analysis. Remember that study that I just talked about moments ago where I said that looking at your skin microbiota may tell you about your phenotype? It's hard for me to feel like this test is going to be too much more than that. Sure, maybe this test can tell you whether you are a smoker or not, but here's my thing. I would hope you're able to tell you that too, right? Right? Let's talk a little bit more about the test itself. So again, it's a cotton swab across your forehead that you mail in. Well, I did happen to find some primary literature looking at that exactly, talking specifically about that type of test. And the problem is, the research I found was saying it's a bit limiting. Apparently there's at least 3 different ways to do this. We of course have skin swabbing discussed in this article here, which is exactly what this kit is. The second method is skin scraping or skin stripping, where they use adhesive tape. The principle here is that you're getting more bacteria that way as opposed to just the superficial bacteria that a cotton swab swiped across the skin would give you. But this study right here points out that the best representation of your skin microbiota is going to be via a punch biopsy, which as of now we don't have any kind of at-home kits for. Think about it like this. The bacteria on the surface of your skin is most likely going to vary based on the environment, based on what products that you are using. However, the bacteria that's deep in your hair follicle is probably a bit more consistent and a good representation of your skin microbiome. Again, my concern here with this test is that you wouldn't really see the skin at the hair follicle itself via this method. So this study right here, the researchers point out, because we observed so few bacterial cells on the skin surface, we questioned whether the bacterial DNA that is present on the skin surface and accessible for sampling by swabs is representative of the viable microbiome. And that is indeed what they saw, a high abundance of bacteria in hair follicles with relatively few bacteria on the skin surface. But coming back to the brand's website, I want to point out one more thing that I do find a bit concerning. So on this main page here, it says, "Will my results be shared with others?" No, your personal results will not be shared, but all results will be anonymously collected so we can better understand the microbiome via data. With this data, we can solve skin health issues with scientific pinpoint accuracy. How fascinating. We're out here trying to protect our data, especially on the internet, which brings us to today's VPN sponsor. I'm kidding. When I ran my studies, we paid our subjects a lot of money for their data, so it's very interesting to see companies figuring out how to not only get that data for free, but actually have people pay for processing it, etc. It's a bit impressive, actually. I don't want to make this a long video, and to be honest with you, at this point, I really can't, because there's not a ton of published literature on this topic, and yet there is a good body of literature about something else, and that is the gut-skin axis. Oh, this started getting popular in maybe 2010 or so, but basically, this is where researchers found a tremendous link between the microbiota populations, again, in our gut, and the rest of our health, very much including our skin. I will link you 2 studies on acne and 1 study on dermatitis just here. Please know there's a ton more. Again, this is where I would say the research is right now. And my other ultimate conclusion in this video is, if the principle here is to spend $150 potentially every month to keep track of your skin, I personally think that your money will go a lot farther seeing a dermatologist. I mean, like they said right here, this study is not to diagnose, prevent, or treat, but your dermatologist can do that. Whew. Awkward jump cut to the evening. Definitely not because I forgot something important, like emphasizing that this video is only my opinion. My bad. This video is only my opinion. I'm certainly not saying I'm right throughout this video, except for in one thing. I am right that high-waisted pants are more comfortable. I like what they're doing. I think that a base of squalene is a good idea, and it's not just any kind of squalene, it is sugarcane-based squalene, which we talked about a lot in my Biossance video, if you are interested in understanding more about the differences between oils, although we've also been talking about that a lot on this channel lately. I do like that it's a brand based around sensitive skin. I think that more brands should talk about that. We're seeing indeed an increase in sensitivity, which is something that the owner of this brand herself talks about. And one more thing I want to make sure I mention, because this is an anhydrous brand, that means there are no preservatives in the products, and that's not a problem, by the way. It would be if the products did contain water, but it's not. So we have an interesting situation here. Even though these products are not probiotic at all, they're also not going to interfere with the bacteria on your face. And I think there's potentially the need for more research into this. I found one research article that was looking at whether the preservatives that are added to skincare products can have an impact on your skin's microbiome. It turns out they can. This is not a point of throw your skincare products away at all. It just simply means maybe we should look a little more into this. I mean, realistically, I thought the take-home point of that article is phenoxyethanol is such a subpar preservative. But anyway, that's really all I wanted to butt into my own video to say is, there really are some good points coming from this brand. At the end of the day, I merely think it's a little bit too expensive and a little bit too early for that probiotic test, in my personal opinion. Let me give you back to earlier in the day, Alice. Alas, that's really all I have to share with you all today. I hope this isn't too harsh of a video. I hope it doesn't come off as me attacking the brand, because really, I do think that is very interesting, and I think the products look absolutely fine, even if pricey, for my personal preferences. If any of you have tried this brand, feel free to leave your thoughts. Also, feel free to leave your thoughts on the content of this video if you haven't tried the brand. But again, that's it for today's video. If you found today's video helpful, make sure to click that like button and make sure you are subscribed. I hope you are all having a wonderful weekend, and I will see you all next time.